Welcome back, everyone, to the Daily Sports Report. I am the NT Daily Sports copy editor and Mean Green men's basketball beat writer, Ethan Plinsky. It's a mouthful.
Yes, I'm so sorry to interrupt. Copy editor, right?
Yeah,
that is
copy
an update since
editor
last
and
time.
designer.
Let's go.
Oh my god, I just realized. Yeah, since last
And
podcast.
designer. If you didn't see already, check out the first issue. I did that sports page.
All Ethan.
Well, I had a little bit of help.
Oh, okay.
I'm also joined by NT Daily Sports editor and North Texas women's basketball beat writer, Chris Moss.
What's up, y'all?
And the NT Daily senior sports writer, Hyunsung Na.
Hello.
And also in the background, we have our video editor, Ethan Shepard.
Ethan
Yeah,
Shepard.
let's go.
We got another loaded podcast today. A lot of things have changed around North Texas. A lot of things have happened. Both women's and men's basketball played SMU. Those are both crazy. We're going to be touching on the men's game today and the women's game. And a little bit, we'll also talk about the men's trip to North Carolina. We'll also talk about how the women's team have continued to break records this season.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like I said, the women beat SMU for the first time since 1989. They also knocked off a USF team that was projected to finish first in the AAC, I believe.
Yep.
So that's pretty crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
the women's team is going absolutely
Going
berserk
pretty-
right now.
pretty
They're
nuts,
like
yeah.
that. They're like that.
They are. And just to wrap things up today, we're going to be talking a little bit about other sports going around North Texas, track and field,
Ooh.
swimming, tennis, that kind of jazz. That'll be near the end.
I change of pace. Why not?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, gotta let everybody know everything that's happening
Dude,
around
gotta
here,
give
you
a
know?
shout out.
We'll shake it up a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, we got to start things off with that SMU game.
Yeah.
Thursday, I got to be there. Chris got to be there in attendance. Hyunsung,
Hyunsung,
I don't know what happened.
unfortunately, didn't get to make it.
Guys,
Yeah.
online classes. It's unfortunate.
He missed a really good one.
I heard. But y'all didn't need me. Y'all didn't need me to break the student attendance record, which you guys have the number, I assume. What was the number?
I have it right here. 2,473 students
Wow.
destroyed the previous record.
Yeah, I think the previous record was something around like 1,700, something like that.
Something
So
around
beat
that
it by
area.
like
A
1,000.
little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah. How was the atmosphere for you guys?
It was absolutely crazy. I've never been in the Super Pit with that many people in there before.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to cover the Charleston Classic game
How was
when
that?
Tech and A&M were there.
Uh-huh.
That was kind of
Yeah.
similar, I would say, just because, I mean, you got people coming from Tech and A&M into DFW to watch that game, and it was intense. I mean,
Yeah.
there was a bunch of people there, but this one, I've never seen that much green in those stands before, to be honest.
Yeah.
The
and Did you
student
notice
sections-
next to the student section, there was a little row of like SMU fans too?
I didn't
They
see,
were
little
like
row?
constantly getting heckled. It was
to be
crazy.
honest, I didn't see a single SMU fan there. I mean,
No blue? No white?
no blue. I mean, maybe a couple, but like I was very surprised not to
Yeah.
be seeing as many as I thought there would be,
Gotcha.
especially with it being like a Metroplex rival like it is.
Well,
but-
they don't consider us rivals. But
yeah, but you know we
I've
do,
seen that, yeah. On
or
Twitter and
North
stuff.
Texas does, yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, it is what it is. I mean, in that game, North Texas beat SMU 68-66.
Mhm.
We saw the return of John Buggs III and Reuben Jones.
yeah.
They showed exactly why they are so essential to this team. John Buggs came in. I think his first shot absolutely just drained it from three-point
Yeah.
range. I was like, oh, he's back. All right, cool. And he ended the game with 4 for 4 from three-point range. He didn't miss a single three that game.
Yeah, and those 2 3-pointers that he hit, like as time was winding down, really made a big difference for that game. There.
They were very clutch shots in those moments. Like he was hitting some very like dagger threes that gave him like a 5-point lead or like a 4-point lead. The game was never, I would say there was never like,
A moment where you thought that it was going to go either way
Mm-hmm.
until the buzzer went off. I was just standing there in the stands like, man, I don't know if you could ask for like a better game.
Just neck and neck the whole
yeah.
time.
Yeah,
And I looked
yeah.
on ESPN after the game and, you know, they have like the final score prediction.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at it and it was just in the middle the entire
and
game.
down,
The probability
Yes,
chart?
the probability chart
Yeah.
was just the same. It was just like, wow. Until like the final second when North Texas finally, you know, forced the missed shot, which I thought was going in. I'll
Yeah,
say
I
that.
The whole super pit at that point pretty much thought it was going in.
Yeah. If you were there, I mean, the place was rocking all night. But when that shot went up, ooh, I thought it was going. I thought I thought he had it, man.
Yeah.
The entire Super Pit went silent, and I thought it was just going to be another heartbreaking moment for this team. We've seen it before, so.
The one thing that I've noticed with the outcome of this game is that a lot of people are obviously like getting swept up in the fanfare. And I can admit it as like from a UNT student standpoint, that's like something to be really applauded. But at the same time, we also have to remember SMU is like what? UNT is like third in the conference, and I think SMU was either fifth or sixth in the conference.
Yeah.
But they were ranked, I believe, just below the top 25. So they were
just below the top 25 on a, what was it, KenPom?
KenPom and net rankings.
Yeah.
Net rankings had a pretty high as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
And
Coach Hodge was talking about that.
I think UNT still went down after the win,
Yeah.
which is insane. I think they fell maybe like 3 places in either one. I can't remember, though.
Yeah, if they wanted to go up, they probably would have needed to beat SMU pretty bad in that game.
And would have needed to secure that win against Fordham.
Yeah, that one might bite them for
Yeah.
sure. I mean, we don't need to talk about that one.
Yeah.
But
Ethan has nightmares about that one. So
yeah, that one
wakes up in a
wasn't.
cold sweat about Fordham.
Yeah, that one wasn't a good one. I'll tell
I'm
you
sure. I'm sure. Like the whole team wakes up in a cold sweat about Fordham, man. That's like, it's like I said when it happened. Like that's one you can't lose if you want to have a shot at March Madness. And
Yeah, Fordham isn't even considered in the top 100 in the net rankings.
I think on net rankings they're like 178th or something like that.
So
And
that just looked bad.
yeah, that's one of those really, really like season crushing losses there.
Yeah, absolutely. Moving into today's point, guys, from what you guys saw against SMU, right? Our main point today I saw was, can North Texas find its identity as a team and finish top 3 in the conference? Since you guys saw that game in person, what did you see from the team, and what do you guys expect?
I personally think, yes, they can.
Yeah.
I think their team is capable with the guys that they have coming back, with Jones and Bugs now coming back. I mean, this team's depth is ridiculous. I mean, you can go down the line. They can, whoever they bench, like next guy coming up is not going to be like it's not going to be like much of a drop off at all.
Yeah.
Like they're all like, they all do their own special thing, and you can tell like when you watch the game, they're a special team out there, man.
Yeah.
So, and their defense, I mean, that's always been like the staple of this team. So I think their defense, I mean, and you see other scores around the league, like Memphis getting beaten by Tulane. Tulane is a team that North Texas beat earlier this year. I mean, obviously, we talked about this last podcast. Let's not use that Tulane team as like a little judging kind of thing. But like, North Texas can hold their own, I feel like, on the defensive side.
Yeah.
And, it was a little tough in the beginning of the conference without, Bugs and Jones having to rely on Edwards.
Mm-hmm.
But, with the depth that this team has coming back, I don't feel like there's a lot of teams that can really match that depth.
Yeah, I think they've definitely got really good depth, and the defense is great. I think that the biggest test is coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate that I have to keep saying this on the podcast where I'm just like, I can't. It's too early to say.
Yeah.
We need to wait until this game. But I feel like the FAU game is that game where it's like, will this team be able to produce such a performance against a really, really good team like FAU?
FAU is still ranked 22, I believe, going into tomorrow's game. And
I believe so as well.
Yep.
last year, I mean, FAU and UNT had a couple of battles.
Yeah.
I mean, both games ended. I believe FAU won both by 4 points. So UNT was never out of either game, and that's an FAU team that went to the Final Four last year.
Absolutely. And
So-
they brought back every single person except for one.
Yeah.
One player.
14 out of 15 people are back on that FAU team,
Scary.
which is ridiculous. You don't see that much with college sports, especially now in
Yeah.
Even you don't
getting
see that at
everybody
all.
back.
That
Never.
is a miraculous situation.
It is unbelievable. I mean, you can tell they believe in what they built over there last year.
Last year.
And, I mean, they're still one of the best teams in this conference.
That's
I mean,
crazy.
they're tied with Charlotte right now. I don't know. We'll see, though.
Chris, I completely get what you're talking about. Looking at the second half of UNT's schedule here, we mentioned FAU, which is actually tomorrow, or at least I don't know when this podcast comes out, but it's on January 28th. UAB is January 31st. I think this is USF, February 3rd, and then February 7th is Tulsa. I'm leading up to something. February 11th is round 2 against SMU, and February 15th is from what I've
Memphis?
seen on Twitter, a very anticipated matchup
Yeah.
against the Memphis Tigers.
Dude, that's like if you look at the top half
Yeah.
versus the bottom half of the schedule, it's like whoever made the schedule was like setting this team up, being like, "You're gonna go against the easy guys." At the
Wichita
beginning."
State.
Yeah,
Give you them
Tulane.
first.
But yeah, I mean, that loss against Charlotte before the SMU game on the 20th.
That was rough.
Yeah,
You guys-
that's scary because they're third. If UNT can't beat that Charlotte team, why should fans have hope that they will beat
Well,
the FAU team?
Chris, funny you say that. I was watching that game before I got here. Charlotte is, from what I understand, are they tied for first in the conference?
They
tomorrow?
are.
Yeah.
They're tied.
They're kind of like that, guys.
They are.
I got to speak to Coach Fern at that media day in his Australian accent. He said that they play slow and we play slow and we play together. They play together against each other. We play slow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what they've shown this year is that kind of mindset and that kind of slowed, methodical play has really done its wonders in the American. I mean, they almost beat Memphis, right? I mean, everyone's kind of taking turns almost beating Memphis. or beating them.
Everybody's taking turns, kind of just passing around Memphis at this point.
No, but yeah, that game against Charlotte was bad. I mean, UNT
I
shot
saw, yeah.
1 for 17 from 3. I mean, it seemed like Charlotte kind of matched their intensity on defense.
Yeah, absolutely.
kind of caught them off guard. I don't think any of the Mean Green were expecting to be like have all those hands in their face, all the time. Like Charlotte was really active on defense, and coming off of a game that they had just came off of in a buzzer-beating game against East Carolina. That
Touchdown
one-
pass.
Touchdown pass. Let me just explain this real quick. If you didn't see it somehow, this play went viral all over ESPN. Hank Dickinson, his call went viral. So basically, Aaron Scott, or you know what? I'm not going to actually explain it. It's too much. But Aaron Scott threw the ball down to Robert Allen. He caught it, put it up in, and yeah.
That's a perfect explanation. That's pretty
Push
straightforward.
off.
I see.
Actually, Robert Allen.
Pass interference.
Actually, Robert Allen pushed off.
But anyways, yes. Speaking of kind of predicting where they're gonna end up in the conference, I have some stats for us here. From what I've seen based on the stats and North Texas and their strategy to win, right? Great defense that we talked about, great team play, great depth. The question I feel like has really been, where is the offensive production when Edwards cannot get it going?
Yeah.
Luckily, against that SMU game, he had I'm a Knicks fan, so he had a very Carmelo Anthony-esque stat line.
Yeah.
I think he had 20, 2 points, 0 assists, 0 rebounds.
Yeah.
Which is really funny to see. But when Edwards doesn't have it going, what have you guys seen from how UNT's been able to replace that production?
Well, I mean,
Does Nolan have it like that?
Nolan, he can
Currently,
definitely knock it down, but
Currently averaging 9 points, I believe.
he's
I don't
averaging
think
9 points. but
I don't
he's-
think he'll have be able to replace that Edwards production.
No, like Edwards is like just too fast. Like Nolan plays like a whole different game than
Yeah.
Edwards.
Yeah. Bigger
Edwards
body,
is-
bigger guard, tries to
Yeah.
post up a little bit.
Yeah, he doesn't have like, I wouldn't say the best handles compared to Edwards. He still got handles. He would cross me up, but
Oh, yeah, he'd exercise me
yeah.
in the demon kind of way. I'd end up on the ground like this.
Oh God. But yeah, Nolan. I think Aaron Scott would definitely be the second like leading guy if Edwards were to be like shooting off or something.
That was one of the reasons Charlotte kind of was able to get that lead against us, right?
Mhm.
Early against North Texas, right? It was Edwards was started the game like 0 for 5. And unfortunately, UNT wasn't able to replace that production that they usually expect from him.
Yeah, Edwards had a rough game that time. Scott led the team with 13 points, but yeah, that was just a tough game. North Texas lost 56 to 44.
I've got
They
an
didn't score a lot.
interesting shout here.
Go for it.
Robert Allen.
Oh,
Yeah.
dog.
He has put
Because like Sissoko is good on defense, but you could see in that SMU game that Sissoko was missing shots, and when they brought in Allen, it gave that team so much more on the offensive side of the ball.
Yep.
And he's still serviceable on defense, but the things that he was doing, just like
offensive rebounds.
offensive
screens.
rebounds,
Cutbacks.
being able to just like back his man down in the paint, I was like, Yeah, this is like that.
Absolutely. Robert Allen is currently 3rd in the American Conference in rebounding and 4th overall in terms of, 3rd in like conference games, 4th overall in all games played, currently averaging 8.33 rebounds in all of his games and 9 in conference games. So he's really going after those boards.
And it's a lot of offensive rebounds as well.
Absolutely. That is one of the most significant parts of it.
That's what every time I watch the game, it seems like he's grabbing at least 5 offensive rebounds. I'm like,
Absolutely.
dude, that is like a really big thing to do.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, with the whole dynamic of like Sissoko starts the game, but then Allen
finishes it.
Finishes it. I wonder if Coach Hodge will ever, switch that around depending on the team that they're playing. If they're playing like a really defensive team that you're going to need some extra offensive firepower for, you start with Allen, give him more minutes, let Sissoko come in off the bench every once in a while, not to the same rate that Allen's coming off right now. I think that
would be a great idea, but the way I kind of see it for Allen is that by being off the bench, he kind of gets like a little head start to see like how the defense is playing and how they're kind of like attacking, and that kind of helps him on like when he goes in there, like he kind of knows what to expect. So I feel like he kind of like really enjoys playing off the bench, and really it's not even playing. Yeah, he like takes pride in it, but he's not really even playing off the bench because
he might as well be the starter.
Yeah, he's going in after 90 seconds.
But look, I mean, I mentioned. Sorry, I was going to go into some stats, but I asked you guys that question. We got a little sidetracked. From what I saw based off the stats, right? My overall conclusion before we get into it: North Texas's main strategy to win, right, similar to McCaslin's been doing and what the Hodge is currently doing, is they're going to fight you in the mud. Yeah. They're going to rub dirt on themselves and then start punching you in the face. And then Jason Edwards is going to stand over there and launch some shots from deep, and then find enough offensive contributions to make it work. Currently, offensively, they're 14th in scoring overall. Currently averaging 67.5 points, 12th in conference games. Right now, luckily, they've been able to be first in scoring defense overall, 58.72 points, and first in conference games, 58.3. And so that score differential. Let me see here. I think. 5 points.
Yeah, SMU has the best score differential, I believe.
I think we're second, I believe, or not second. Sorry,
we're either second or third. We're close, but SMU is just the one thing I noticed about them. Third. North Texas is third. SMU is first, but SMU, their offense was just you could tell it was stuttering or like suffering a little bit because North Texas suffocating defense, but overall, SMU's offense is much better than North Texas's.
Yes.
Dude, you know how you were talking about Zurich Phelps?
Yeah.
Yo, he is kind of like that.
He is, man.
I'm not going to lie. I saw him do like
there was one play.
A hezzy step back into a jumper. And then I was like, yo, wait a minute. This guy, he's like that.
There was one play where Phelps, I believe, he did I think he did like some kind of move
Euro.
and Euro move, and he got to the layup and he got fouled by Rondell Walker. And after he got fouled, I don't know if they took the lead or whatever, but he went over to the Maniacs and just started screaming at them.
Yeah,
he was yelling at them, man. And
what's super interesting is that the Phelps that you guys saw is statistically actually worse than Phelps last year.
Yeah.
And I was going to say, from what I'm seeing based on the stats, it seems like he just doesn't seem to be maybe not into it as much because he was in the draft process last year and came back. I'm just curious what you guys
maybe it's a more high-powered SMU team than it was last year.
It is true.
That could take away from his production.
For sure.
They did not win many games, and he was kind of going crazy. So
their record last year wasn't very good. Huh?
No.
That's kind of like that's a big like NBA and NFL effect. You put like a good above average player on like a really, really bad team, they're gonna have like great stats. But then once you put like other better pieces around them, then it's gonna even all out. Which I still think like just by watching him, he still definitely has the intangibles to be like, even if he doesn't actually get drafted, which I doubt he will. He could always play G League and then make it onto the bench for the team.
Do a little Jordan Walker thing, Jelly Walker.
So guys, looking forward to the rest of the season. I mean, that's my personal thoughts about it. It seems like there's kind of one way to win, and it's like either two ways. Sorry, Edwards has to go crazy, or we're just going to clamp up. And there is no other option.
But just to kind of like wrap things up and kind of like go back to Reuben Jones and Bugs, having them back
does change the team.
It changes the team so much. And that was one thing I got to ask Coach Hodge about in the last press conference was how important it was to kind of like, have them back for these conference games. And yeah, well, I have a quote from it actually right here. We'll put it in here.
Yeah, I mean, obviously. Yeah, they've worked so hard, and again, that's where you. Yeah, I mean, obviously. Yeah, they've worked so hard, and again, that's where you garner the level of appreciation when you see John Buggs, because he had a shoulder injury. When you see him the last 2 weeks, when we're practicing, and he's running every stair in the pit to keep his cardio up, and he's doing defensive slides out there by himself. And so when you see tonight is a byproduct of that. And so you're really happy, obviously happy for us and happy for everybody, but you're happy for them to get to be out there. And when you're playing an elite defense, you know you're going to have to make some tough shots. And he jumped up and made some really big shots in the second half. And then I felt like Ruben got us off to a great start. And his composure, again, his ability to manage the ball, 4 assists, only 2 turnovers, was really big. And just defensively, such a stabilizer for us.
Is Jones back, by the way? I know he re-injured that hamstring.
Yeah, so that was Coach Hodge. And, yeah, I don't know what happened in the second half of the Ruben. I think he kind of like re-injured his hamstring, the one that had him out originally.
Yeah.
I never asked him about it after halftime though, after the game.
I'm sure you'll probably get an opportunity to ask about that soon.
There will be an opportunity for sure, but if it was a re-injuring of that hamstring, I mean, who knows how long he'll be out.
Because Ethan, because you brought it up of what they contribute to the team, UNT was 14th in assists overall, 11th in conference games. 10 averaging and then 11 in conference. But I think a part of that has been missing Jones, right?
Yeah.
And missing that traditional point guard, traditional passer of the ball, and being forced or forcing, Nolan to step into that role or Edwards, you know what I mean? So getting that playmaking back, getting the 3-and-D back from Buggs. I mean, but originally he was the leading scorer at UTSA, right? From what I understand last year.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. That's also like the Zurich Phelps thing that I was talking about earlier. Like, you put a good player on a bad team, they're going to like shine above the rest. You put him into a UNT team that is so far ahead of that UTSA team.
Yeah. Especially in the guard
have definitely
position.
come down, yeah.
Yeah, like UNT's guard position is loaded right now. Like
and has been for
it's been loaded for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw in the last game Matthew Stone didn't even play a minute, which is I think he missed his first game in over like 100 games that he's played or something. Something ridiculous. He has been a workhorse for the past 3 years, but he unfortunately missed his first game this year, and Rondell Walker pretty much, I mean, I hate to say it, but he kind of stole his job.
Yeah.
He's doing it a lot better, too. He's shooting the ball really well. Rondell Walker has been a spark plug. He continues to be. But, yeah, that is pretty much all we got for men's basketball. Their next game is tomorrow, Sunday, January 28th, against Florida Atlantic in Boca Raton. So
Boca Raton.
We'll see how that goes. It should be an interesting one, and it should be exciting. But yeah, we'll take a little break, and then we're gonna talk a little bit of women's basketball.
Let's go.
Welcome back, everybody. We are now going to be talking about a little bit of women's basketball.
Woo!
Chris Moss is here, and he has been covering the women's basketball team this year, and they have been unbelievable, breaking records left and right. I mean, since our last podcast, they picked up a win at SMU. I think I talked about that earlier. But
huge comeback win at home against Wichita State. Comeback win again against South Florida. The overtime comeback win was Tulane.
Yeah.
Close win against South Florida, and then they've got that big game coming up. Like you said,
they got 2 tests coming up. Actually, they have UAB, of course, tomorrow.
Yep.
And Tulsa, ranking 2nd and 3rd respectively in the conference, of course, behind North Texas. My question for you, Chris, is: do you think this team can continue to play some of the best North Texas basketball or women's basketball that this school has seen in years?
Yeah, I mean, with with a win at UAB, any other win in this season, I think Burton gets the most wins in a single year, or like in his first year of any first-time coach ever at UNT for the women's basketball team. On a historic win streak, had an even bigger one at the beginning of the season, but this win streak has also, just been huge.
A lot of theatrics in this one. A lot of dramatics.
That Wichita State game was, scary for the team for sure. Because coming in, and I know there was a few other journalists that had talked about it there, they were like, we thought that they were just going to kind of roll this game. Wichita State came in, I think they might have been worse in the conference at that point. No, I think they were 13th or something. At the time, this was a North Texas team that was really, really on a hot streak.
Rolling.
So to go down so early in that first half, and then obviously coming back from 18-point deficit, which I think was like the first time they had such a big comeback since like
2018.
Yeah, something like that. And it was just huge for that team and the momentum. Obviously, we can get kind of into like the issues of what caused that, and I had written this down, here on the script, but it's always poor rebounding in the first half is like killing them. I think because I live tweet the games, so it's like at halftime I'll always just like tweet out and be like, here's the most important statistics to know. And every single time that they go behind by double digits in the first half, my first tweet every single time is like, this is how much UNT is down by on rebounding compared to their opposition. And this is a Wichita State team that's like not good, but UNT was still getting out rebounded by like 6 or 7 at halftime. So that's one thing they're going to have to mitigate if they want to, continue to make this run to win the conference.
Absolutely.
But I think that if things keep going as the way that they are, if they can fix that rebounding issue, I think that I'm more confident about the women's basketball team winning their conference and like being in the top 3 than the men's team, at least.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Definitely, I can agree with that.
A lot more consistent, we can just kind of like run down through these wins. Wichita State, we had just talked about, huge comeback win, but at the same time, it kind of reflected badly on the team. Yeah. And you could hear that in the interviews after the game. The players were like, we weren't at our best right now. We just kind of thought we could roll them as well.
Yeah, at the time, sorry to cut you off, but at the time, Wichita State was 5-12 overall. So to lose or to win over a team that, like, by the score of 72-68, you would expect it to be a little bit more.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off, but go ahead.
You're all good. Was Shamria Duncan? Was she the one that was like really clutch down? No, it might have been like Robinson and Lampkin that were really clutch down the stretch for those games.
Yeah,
but,
different game for Duncan.
Yeah. We don't need to talk about that. 0 for 3, 4 fouls.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
That game was led by Colonel.
The one thing that's really interesting about Duncan is that in she's done this in 2 separate games. I think it was it South Florida and Tulane. She had 2 straight clutch 3-pointers to either put them within the lead or put them within like a 1-possession game. She starts out like really bad shooting splits, maybe like 0 for 4 or something like that in the first half, just not really getting her shots off in the spots that she wants them. And she's admitted that herself. Yeah. But, the clutch factor just kind of kicks in there. And it's crazy too. I believe she's still, playing through a lingering injury there.
Still coming back.
Yeah, so the fact that she has been so clutch down the stretch, I think it is South Florida and Tulane. Incredible for that team there. But they never want to be in the situation where they will need somebody to make those 2 straight threes.
Yeah, but obviously to have that is gigantic.
Oh, yeah. And then another thing that we've seen like kind of down this stretch of games is De'Ani Robinson really making her mark early on.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think maybe we were talking about it like the men's basketball side. I was talking about how they needed a spark plug. And it's like, De'Ani Robinson is that spark plug for this UNT team. She had a big impact there at the end of the Tulane game as well.
Absolutely.
Came in and made some crucial rebounds that, had a lot to do with them being able to make that, to send it into overtime.
Yeah. And speaking on that Tulane game, it was against a lineup with 4 players, all 6 foot or above.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for Robinson to come in at
Who's
what?
like
She's
5'7"?
like 5'7", 5'8".
Yeah.
To come in and like make those crucial plays down the stretch was absolutely huge. I mean,
Beautiful to see.
we've been harping on like the Tulane and Wichita State game a lot. Obviously, we can't ignore like the SMU game. Huge.
Yes.
Yeah,
Massive.
and shout out to Hyunsung for covering that game. I unfortunately was in class, so I could not cover the game at the time. Shout out, I dropped the class so that I can cover more games. But yeah, it was the first away like win at the Moody Center for UNT versus SMU.
Since 1989.
Since 1989. Yeah,
35 years
huge.
straight.
And I mean, Burton said, I think it was either post or pregame, he said that they had put 1989 on the board. And then somewhere, you can probably find it on Twitter, I know that they had a video of after the game erasing it and then putting 2024. Yeah.
2024.
2014.
2014.
Yeah, it went back in time,
Where are you at, man?
But yeah, I mean, that one was a big momentum win right there because while SMU, not great this season, that's still like a big deal for those women. I mean, even the players that came in as transfers that don't really like know 100% the whole rivalry, they haven't been here like Lampkin has.
Yeah.
Colonel was still very, very hyped up about the win. That you can see in all like the promotional stuff after the game with the top dog necklace. I don't know if anybody's seen that, but yeah, they've been giving that out to like their
MVP or something.
Yeah, to their MVP to wear to like every press conference and stuff. They're building something new with this program, and that's the thing that I think is so impressive is that Burton's come in and just completely rebuilt a honestly sad UNT women's basketball program towards the end there, and had so much success. Yeah, I think that they will definitely make the run. They'll be in the top 2 or 3.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they'll drop to 3. I could see them being in the top 2 by the end of the season there.
Chris, because we spent a lot of time talking about all the positives and bright sides of women's basketball at the moment, or UNT women's basketball at the moment, I will talk about some of the dangers. I know we mentioned rebounding as one.
Yep.
It's kind of consistent in the first half to be out-rebounded. The only time that I kind of saw a difference was that SMU game, but they trotted out a 4-guard lineup, so it's kind of the expectation that they kind of out-rebound them. In the Tulane game, fun fact. Here, let me get my notes real fast. One sec. I know that Lampkin had, I think, 15 rebounds.
She had a double-double.
Just by herself. And what's interesting about Tulane is, right, we mentioned that they had 4 players, all 6 foot or above, and they played the majority of the minutes. I think it's 45 from Gaelic, 43 from Pratt, 38 from Mabry. It's a lot of players who are on the court for a long stretch of time.
The inability to stop the 3 ball was really bad in that game.
Yeah, maybe that's also a huge issue that they've had. I mean, so this is the thing, right? So talking about what's going to stop this UNT team from accomplishing all their dreams and goals and hopes, from what I'm seeing, is a lack of consistent perimeter shooting. I mean, we mentioned that Duncan in the clutch will hit those shots. My theory at the moment, and I hope I'm proven wrong in these upcoming stretch of games that you guys talked about, is that every player on this team has a kind of max number of 3-pointers they can make per game. I can expect 1 to 2, and if they're making more than that, they are having a heck of a game from a perimeter shooting standpoint.
I don't know if that's really going to be a huge hindrance to the team because Burton has said it like time and time again when asked about the 3 ball.
Yeah,
that's not really what this team
absolutely
focuses on, and that kind of also goes into my other point for the women's basketball team is during late into that Tulane game, maybe late third quarter, Burton puts in Anaya Johnson, backup center, and she plays alongside Lampkin. Instantly, that rebound deficit goes from like 7 to 0. Instantly, as soon as she goes on the court. Tulane, I don't know how it's possible, but Anaya Johnson, a center coming in to play power forward, like Tulane stops being able to make 3-pointers as well because they're not having to make up for a lack of height outside of Lampkin just sitting there in the paint. So they're able to play a lot more man defense there. I don't know how y'all would feel about it, but
yeah, I'm with you. It's a fantastic team, and therefore, right, we're kind of nitpicking. We're not saying like these
Yeah.
are huge flaws,
Yeah.
but that Tulane game, when you're behind and your main offense is paint touches and 2-point scores, and you're playing a perimeter shooting team that shoots threes, you have to minimize mistakes to almost perfect.
Yeah.
Because if you start turning the ball over, or if you start missing your gimmies, or you start missing your 2-point scores, they hit a 3, and that lead gets a little longer.
Yeah, another thing in there was that the turnovers were pretty much equal throughout the game.
Yeah.
But points off turnovers for Tulane was like twice as many as UNT's points off turnovers were. Like they would get that. That's the one thing that's been a little bit iffy about the team is that they're so fast paced, just constantly trying to like maximize how many times they get
Points
shots
in
up.
transition, absolutely.
Yeah, that if it's not going down, then it is a problem. If they are not capitalizing off of those turnovers, then it's going to be a huge issue coming down the stretch there.
Yeah, similar thing happened in the Charlotte game earlier this year as well.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of turnovers on both sides, but Charlotte was the one who was able to capitalize off that, right? So I think that UNT's the women's team has a very high ceiling that we've talked about. I mean, first or second in the conference, but it's kind of clear that if they fall into too many turnovers, or if their perimeter shooting, that the little they have doesn't keep falling, right? Or the other team can kind of minimize the paint efforts.
Yeah.
Or the other team is shooting. There's a lot of different ways that a lead can be built against this UNT women's team. Now, of course, what we saw from Tulane was when it becomes clutch time, they can really play lockdown defense.
Yeah.
I love the how Coach Burton switches from zone to man.
Yeah.
Throws a lot of different looks at those players. It's really impressive to me, especially for a first-year coach. I mean, incredible.
To get everybody to buy in.
Absolutely.
That-
On the defensive end,
Yeah.
it's
Insane.
beautiful. Every time I see Desiree Wooten check in, I go, we're probably not going to make a 3 offer, but she is going to stop someone else from making one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
She's incredible, and I love a lot of the players on that team.
And one thing I've heard in Burton's interviews on his Mean Green Coaches show is that Desiree Colonel, she's kind of like, she's a winner, and she's kind of showing that to like all these players that she's now playing with here at North Texas. I believe she graduated last year at
She's a graduate student.
A&M Commerce.
A&M Commerce, and now she's doing her graduate stuff, and she's been a real
Wait, hold on. Ethan, what's graduate stuff?
her graduate school,
Oh, yeah.
that stuff that nobody really,
Oh my God.
What?
Let me just breathe. Holy All right, man. That graduate stuff that no one cares about. Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm just messing with you.
I don't know where that was going, but she's been great.
Yes, that is
That was
Ethan's
my point.
Yeah.
And she has, and she's so competitive, and the leadership is incredible. And Chris brought up the point that this team last year, there's a lot of players from last year to this year who just look different. There's a different culture. There's a different atmosphere in the building. Thanks to Coach Burton. Thanks to Desiree Colonel, both coming from Commerce. This team looks different, and we're all, of course, rooting for them.
And thanks to a huge step forward from Lampkin.
Oh
my
my!
Have
gosh.
you seen her like averages this season compared to last season, and just like knowing her story of being here for the full 4 years, slowly each year her averages go up, but this year have just taken a tremendous leap, and the leadership that she has on this team is absolutely insane.
I forgot to mention her because it's almost become such a given that like she's going to drop, let's say, 15 to 20 points.
Yeah.
a game. It's like I
and
forget.
then put up like a double every single game.
Grab
yeah.
like a double-digit rebounds. Yeah, I mean she's incredible. She's the tallest member of the team, 6'2", I believe.
Every year she is improved as far as statistics go. I mean,
Absolutely.
2020 and 2021 season, 4.8 points. Next year after that, 5.4. Next year after that, 9.3. And now this year, 14.7. So, I mean, and she's getting more minutes each year as well. So, I mean, she's improving every year, and it's showing. And
She's an incredible player.
she really is.
If we were gonna say that Desiree is like the captain of their ship, Tamisha's that engine.
Oh,
Yeah.
That just
Oh,
keeps
100%.
roaring for that team. Consistent, stable, high
Shoot,
energy.
She might be the whole ship. not to like throw anything against the other players, but man, dude,
Huge portion of their offense. Absolutely.
Yes, the heart that she plays with there.
It's wonderful.
There's times where, in those huge deficits in the game, everybody else seems a little bit defeated, but Lampkin is still like
running,
boxing out as hard as she can, like throwing elbows, grabbing down offensive boards. And it's just like, man, the heart that it takes to play like that when you're down over double digits. Yeah, crazy.
I'm loving
She's
it.
been awesome.
You know, I kind of want to jump back to something from even the men's basketball thing now.
Yeah.
You know, we were talking about how they had broken student attendance record for that SMU game, you know, and I've seen things online where people are like, yeah, all UNT fans are fair weather fans. And, you know, it's one thing we're going to kind of have to ask ourselves, and we did ask ourselves last semester. Shout out DeLeon James.
Oh, yeah.
Go read his
column
on how to fix fan engagement. But
NorthTexasDaily.com.
yeah,
You'll find it there.
shout out plug
Shout
plug
out,
the
DeLeon.
website.
We
Let's
miss you.
go.
I think we've mentioned you every podcast, dude. We miss you.
Oh,
we
yeah,
miss
DeLeon,
you.
shout out.
But you know, both coaches for both the men's and women's team had things to say when it came to why are students not showing out for these games, and we're gonna play those quotes now.
Really just, like I said, thankful. Really thankful. Thankful for the crowd. Thankful for our guys. Happy that our guys got to play in an environment like that. They worked so hard. They put so many hours behind the scenes. And look forward to the day. And I appreciate everyone that comes. This isn't like a knock on anybody. But I look forward to the day that people want to come watch our team play that bad instead of watch our team play another team. Because I think, I don't say it selfishly, I could care less. But for our players' sake, the work they put in, I think they deserve to play in front of that. But super appreciative to everybody that comes to all our games. I know it's hard. So
I'm going to echo what Coach Hod said last night. Like, if you can do it for one game, you can do it for all the games, right? And that's not just the men's basketball, women's basketball. You can look at us. We're undefeated, both programs, undefeated and super good. It's a special place with a lot of really good basketball being played. Both of your basketball teams, almost halfway through conference, have a chance to win the league. And for us, you know, we have still more home games than we do road games. We need, for the rest of the home games that we have in the Super Bowl, we need our fans, our students to show up and be loud. It makes a huge difference.
So what are y'all's thoughts on that quote, on both of those quotes? I mean, I know that I definitely can agree to some form, especially on the women's side, because I've been at so many of those games and just seen how just kind of empty the stadium is compared to how good the team is. And it just like makes me just think of more questions where I'm like, why does nobody show out for this? And I understand, you know, UNT is a, you know, liberal arts school or band school at the end of the day. You know, not everybody's going to care about sports, but you've got to think that there's more than what the average 800 people that show up to the games. It's like, I don't know. It's just confusing to me.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's for women's sports at least, it's a larger issue. I think.
I mean, yeah, it definitely is a part of that larger like societal issue around women's sports in general.
I mean, it's a completely different game, and so it garners different fans. And so people who are big fans of men's basketball won't necessarily be big fans of women's basketball.
Yeah.
I think it's. What do you think, Chris? I think having watched both this season, it's completely different games.
I don't think it's completely different.
I really do. Especially in terms of what is an open shot is what I've noticed the biggest difference. There's types of shots that the men's players play. I think from a strength standpoint, they're able to get their shots off a lot quicker and in much tighter spaces than a lot of the women players can. Mm-hmm. I think that a lot of women players have to shoot from a kind of a set shot, right? Instead of being a lot off the dribble or kind
Catch
of creating it. Exactly. It has to be more based off of that motion. I think they're just different games. I just think that
how many pull-up jumpers is the UNT men's basketball team doing?
Have you seen Jason Edwards?
I was at the SMU game. I think he did that maybe 2 or 3 times.
He had a couple.
A lot of it was face up.
Bugs was doing the catch and shoot stuff. I'll give him his props. But just to kind of like go back to your point, I had never seen so much promotion about a game in my life about UNT. Like every social post was talking about it. I mean, even through like all the buildings, you would see papers that
posters.
say
Yeah.
beat SMU
Dude.
with a QR code on there.
Even in the Sycamore men's bathroom,
There-
there was a flyer that had a QR code saying "Beat SMU." Are we okay? How
Yeah.
did somebody justify? And they like put it on the wall and they were like, "Yeah,
That'll work.
this is good right here."
But apparently it worked because,
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like if they want to get fans out to every game, maybe you got to put flyers out for every game just to
Consistent
let them
effort.
know. I mean, because I've never seen that much promotion for a game before. And, I mean, if you want to have that same kind of, like,
Yeah, and it was from so many different avenues too, because you know the main like Mean Green women's and men's basketball Twitter can only do so much.
Yeah.
You also saw like a bunch of promotion from the UNT Maniacs
Absolutely.
and a lot of promotion from
Mean Green Sports.
yeah Mean Green's like the sports account in general. Like
Yeah.
UNT's account itself
Mm-hmm.
was doing a lot of the posting. So it's just like, you know, the one thing that really got a lot of players out was, or like a lot of students out, was that they knew what the stakes were because everybody was telling them. This UAB game, and you know, shout out to Zach Babb, the you know, the commentator over there on Varsity Network, Mean Green Sports Network. He tweeted out and he was kind of talking about the stakes and how they compare to previous stakes for women's basketball, you know, here at UNT. And he was like, this might be the biggest game in 22 years for this program.
Huge game.
It's a big one. And it doesn't feel like it was.
Yeah,
the
it doesn't
amount of,
feel like it because
promotion.
nobody is saying anything about it.
Yeah.
And it like, I feel like I'm genuinely like getting angry over here. Like, why will nobody talk about it whatsoever?
It's ridiculous.
The radio silence from a good portion of the fan base on issues like this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that they have to like be like, oh, we need to get as many people as we did for the men's basketball game for that game against SMU.
But just like
But
even like a
More
portion of
than-
it.
The effort,
yes,
yeah.
even a portion of it would work.
Yeah, for sure.
But you know, I feel like I'm going to get to the Super Pit on Sunday, and it's just going to be the same old attendance, and I'm just going to be like,
You gotta be kidding
man,
me.
it's so sad
Yeah.
because those women work just as much
Absolutely.
as
Yeah.
those men do on the basketball
Just
side.
as much or maybe harder. I
Yeah.
mean, they are working so hard, and their record proves it. I mean, 16-3.
They're winning more.
They're winning
they're
more.
literally winning more.
They're like one of the best teams in the country right now. I mean, honestly.
Yeah,
Like,
honestly.
when you think about the stats and stuff, when you look at it deep, I mean, I forget which one it was, but it goes LSU. There's one stat with LSU on top, and North Texas is right below them.
Yeah.
So, like, North Texas is like one of the best women's basketball teams really in the country this year.
Especially like mid-major basketball
Mhm.
teams.
Absolutely, yeah.
Probably, you know, top 5 mid-major women's basketball program right now.
I think it goes back to getting into the societal issue. I think
Yeah.
that there's a lot of fair weather basketball fans.
Yeah.
I am a sicko. I like Desiree Wooten when she catches the ball, pump fakes, drives, and then kicks out to an open shooter.
Yeah.
I enjoy that. But I think there's a lot of basketball fans who enjoy, I don't know, they're there for highlights, like dunks, three-pointers made, and stuff like that. And unfortunately, I think there is a difference between the two sports. And
Yeah, in that way, yeah, I can definitely
and
agree
it's
with you
harder
there.
for the average basketball fan to enjoy both equally, unless they're really getting into the nitty-gritty.
Yeah.
Again, Desiree Wooten, drive, kick out, pump fake, my favorite sequence in all of basketball
Yeah.
I've seen this year.
That's awesome, man.
It's beautiful.
But yeah. Yeah, so I mean, wrapping it up pretty much, come out to more games. The coaches want it. You know,
That would be great,
and
yeah.
and we're kind of biased as like sports enjoyers, but like, you know, even if you're not super into sports and you're just like, oh, I need something to do on a Sunday or I need something to do on a Wednesday.
Great
I've got no
activity.
friends.
Come out to a
Just
women's
come out to the
basketball
game.
man.
Just come out to any of the games.
Yup.
Let's get the attendance numbers up.
Yeah, man. And they deserve it, man. They deserve to feel that kind of energy that the men's basketball
Absolutely. I
team felt.
completely
I
agree.
mean, I
With
was
the
in
amount
there.
of students we have,
I mean, good God. There's like 40,000 students going here or
Guys,
something.
largest freshman class.
no more parking. No
No
more.
more. I
yeah.
haven't found parking once since classes started 2 weeks ago. I've been walking.
Park
15
somewhere near
minutes.
the super pit and then go to
And
the
then
game.
go to the game.
Yeah.
Or
hey,
as Chris said, if
There
you
you
have
go.
no friends.
if you have no friends,
There's no friends. Come out to the
why
game.
not?
You have nothing better to do. Come and watch these women play some good basketball.
Yeah, just come up and like, you know, shake my hand or slap me. I don't care. Just show up.
We gotta get to the next topic.
Yeah. All right. We're going to wrap things up. And we'll get into some more North Texas sports in our next topic.
Drag
see ya.
Fields.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Just to wrap things up, we got a couple more North Texas sports news to talk about. Obviously, in the last podcast, we were still wondering who was going to be the next quarterback for North Texas.
Yeah.
And I think not even 24 hours after we stopped recording, Chandler Morris, TCU transfer, who I actually brought up and said that he went on a visit here. He committed to North Texas, according to his Twitter.
Chubba, no.
No
I was
Chubba,
gonna say no
Chubba
Chubba
Perkins.
Perkins.
I forget where Chubba went.
Yeah, he committed somewhere. I don't know.
I don't know. But
Not our problem anymore.
not only did North Texas get Chandler Morris,
Yep.
they also snagged a Liberty transfer, Reese Mooney.
Yes.
I believe he played baseball as well. Maybe not. Maybe that was somebody
Yeah, I
else.
think he might be a two-sport athlete.
Oh.
Hey, you
Freshman.
love to see
Not
it.
here though, right? Because we don't have a.
We don't have a
Not
baseball
here,
team,
we
but
don't got a baseball team. Yeah.
hey, but he'll be probably playing backup quarterback. So
Yeah, we'll see.
Reese Mooney, welcome to the team. Chandler Morris, welcome to North Texas. Yeah, what do you guys think?
I mean, I'm really interested to see how the whole Chandler Morris thing turns out because of his injury record.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of what hindered his performance at OU, especially TCU. I mean, he came in first year. I think it would have been either 2021. You know, played a few games and then instantly got hurt.
Yeah.
Came into the 2022 season, the season that they made, you know, the college football playoffs, and he was supposed to be the starter before Max Duggan.
Max Duggan, yeah.
Yeah, and then
Different story.
he gets hurt. Max Duggan comes in and, you know, finishes out the season, brings him to a playoff. You know, and I believe it was the same injury both times as well. So
Well, I
it's a
mean,
bit scary.
It's kind of nice to know that a guy who made the team at TCU is now going to be going to North Texas. I mean,
Yeah.
they needed a Chandler Rogers replacement. I think you just got one with the same first name
Yeah.
and the last name as your coach. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it definitely is cool. I mean, some of his, you know, his highlights look pretty good. The average thing that you'd expect for, you know, somebody that played at a P5 school, somebody that was supposed to start for a P5 school.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm really interested, you know, to see what he does. And then I'm also super interested in, like, where is this all going to leave Reese Mooney? Because you've got to think he's super young. And then, you know, you throw Cash McCollum into the mix. It's like,
What's he going to do?
yeah, what's he going to do? Reese Mooney's going to be, a sophomore next year, and then Cash McCollum's going to be a freshman. It's like and of course I have to bring it back to Texas somehow, but it's like, you know, Quinn Ewers is going to be coming back for his next season, and everybody was like, oh, well, where's that going to leave Arch?
Archman, yeah.
You know, that's kind of what I'm seeing here with the whole Reese Mooney thing is like, you know, I'm sure Reese Mooney won't mind having to, you know, sit on the bench as a second string quarterback
Yeah.
for, you know, 1 year while Chandler Morris gets off his last year of eligibility. But is Cash McCollum going to be fine with doing that?
Because Cash is based off of that highlight tape. He looks like he's ready.
Yeah,
I mean,
what, 4-star, right?
yeah, I don't remember exactly what it was.
I thought,
but,
24/7, I think I had him as a 3-star.
Okay,
What I understood.
yeah.
but either way, I mean, you look at the guy's tape, 6'4", Cash McCollum. The name alone, Cash. If your name is Cash and you're not throwing dimes, I mean,
from that like really good China Springs team too.
Yeah. I mean, Coach Morris talked about it in his press conference. He was talking about how Cash is a natural-born winner, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
I think you guys are bringing up good points. I think that this is just really great insurance policies.
Oh, yeah,
I think
100%.
after last year, you have to recognize and be like, there is no guarantees that these guys are going to be here longer than a year.
Yeah.
You know, there's no more guarantees about quarterback development because we might develop him and then he might leave. you know, so I mean, if Cash wants to get out, I know that a lot of the reasoning behind his signing here was because he's close to home. So, you know, if he still embraces that and still thinks that's important to him by next year, you know, hopefully he can be the future as well.
We also got another quarterback coming back.
Yes.
Shout out our favorite
Oh.
wild
absolutely.
story,
Jace Reuter.
Jace Reuter,
Jace Reuter.
quarterback / linebacker. He's going to
Yes.
be returning to UNT next season.
Total. Let's just round them all up. So we got Chandler Morris,
Yep.
Reese Mooney, Cash McCollum, Stone Earl, and
JD Head.
JD Head.
Yeah,
He's
JD
still
Head.
here?
yeah,
Really?
I believe so.
And Jace Reuter.
Yeah.
That's
So
6.
that is 6 quarterbacks.
I mean, it's a lot better from where we were starting, where it was like everyone just kind of left.
Yeah.
Who's throwing the ball now?
Yeah, it was kind of an issue for a little bit, but
You know what? Actually, Coach Morris, you're playing quarterback now. You get
It
to
was
just-
really getting to that point.
I mean, after seeing what Aaron Scott did against East Carolina,
Hey, maybe
everybody
he'll
was
play
saying,
go get some snaps.
Dude, two-sport athlete.
yeah, man. I mean, he might have to be a quarterback. Who knows? But he's doing pretty good at basketball, so who knows?
He's all right. I'm kidding.
No,
He's great.
based off of what I've seen, I think he might be the most NBA-ready North Texas player that we
that
have on the
frame
team.
is incredible, right?
Dude, he has room to grow.
6'7", 200 pounds.
you
We're
guys-
talking about basketball, and we're
Sorry.
yeah.
Sorry to get off topic, but he's great. But yeah, that was pretty much our North Texas football update. I mean, they got their quarterbacks,
Yeah, they're definitely very happy with that.
Quarterback
For
room's
sure.
looking a lot
Yeah.
more nice.
6 quarterbacks. I mean, better than nothing. So, which is what they were kind of sitting at before.
But yeah, now we're going to do a little bit of a rundown of other sports news for UNT.
Sports news.
Today, as of recording, January 27th, Mean Green Track and Field is in Houston for the Robert Platt Invitational, which is their, I believe, 3rd invitational of the year. Swim and Dive is continuing their season, facing off against Little Rock and Vanderbilt there in Arkansas. Then Mean Green Tennis is kicking off their spring schedule, playing against McNeese, and during the same day, they will face Southeastern Oklahoma State, which is big for them getting ready to go into the conference games there.
For sure.
And then,
All happening today.
Yeah, and then on Sunday, men's basketball at noon is going to obviously go and play FAU in Boca Raton.
Boca
That'll be a
Raton.
number 2 ranked FAU, so that'll be a good game. And then women's basketball is set to match up with UAB, like we mentioned earlier.
For the first position.
Dude,
For the
crazy
number 1
games.
position.
Yeah.
2 big games for both teams.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, and women will be playing at the Super Pit, and that'll be at 2 o'clock.
Big doubleheader there for UNT fans.
For sure. And then they got another doubleheader on the next Wednesday, which would be January 31st. Women's basketball will head to San Antonio to face UTSA at 6:30 p.m. And then men's basketball will host UAB in an NIT rematch at the Super Pit at 8 o'clock p.m. So a lot of basketball coming up, and throw it over to Thursday.
Yeah, so February 1st, Thursday, Mean Green Tennis will host New Mexico State, continuing their little, beginning of the season home stretch that they have there. And then Friday, North Texas Track and Field will compete in the Washburn Open in Topeka, Kansas, February 2nd. I think I already said that. But, so that'll be their second to last meet before the indoor track and field All-American Athletic Conference Championships there. And then February 3rd, which is the Saturday, they're going to be finishing the Washburn Open in Topeka. North Texas Swim and Dive is going to be competing in the SMU Time Trials in Dallas, Texas. And then I'm going to let Ethan finish it here.
And just to wrap things up on that Saturday as well, men's basketball will be facing a pretty highly ranked South Florida team at the Super Pit at 5 o'clock p.m. South Florida, I didn't know your game was like that. Yesterday, Chris mentioned to me, he was like, we're probably going to do a preview for South Florida. And I was like, they're good? Apparently, they're like 3rd in the conference. So,
They're nice.
So that'll be a good game to come out to if you're here in Denton. Come out to that game. Come watch some basketball. They've been playing great basketball this year.
Speaking briefly on track and field, I was just curious when I looked it up. An hour ago, Kiela Dove, is that her name?
Yep.
Yeah.
Set a new program record in the indoor shot
Again?
put. Yeah, second week in a row. She's
Yeah.
done
Man.
this.
Breaking news.
Kiela Dove, incredible thrower.
Athlete of the week.
She's really cool too.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I noticed from interviewing her is she's very chill. I'm glad that we're getting to do a little bit more track and field coverage, especially with the way that team is doing. I mean,
Yeah, it's not even her too, because they're winning gold. at a lot of these meets and stuff.
Parchman. I wanted to talk to. I can't remember. It might have been men's weight throw. He had just set a personal record or a school record.
Yeah.
And then Jalen Washington, freshman
From Duncanville,
freshman from Duncanville, won 2 golds in his first ever collegiate meet.
It's crazy.
Yeah, if you guys haven't read that little recap, like update on their season that I did this
There are
week,
a lot of people to keep up with.
yeah, there's a lot of people to keep up with there. If you haven't read it, obviously go to ntdaily.com or pick up one of our paper editions.
Yeah, now we can say that. I mean, this week was our first print edition, and yeah, if you guys are here on campus or around Denton area, go check out our paper this week.
Lots of blood, sweat, and tears went into making it.
Yeah,
Right,
I
Ethan?
didn't get to leave till 2 o'clock.
Yeah, inside.
It was fun.
But yeah, we're super hyped up for the rest of the semester.
Yeah,
man.
dude, it's gonna be a lot of fun. I mean, we'll be back. I don't know when we're gonna be recording next, but
Yeah, probably 2 weeks, I think.
weeks from now.
We're
Yeah,
probably going to
we'll
go
try
on a
to-
2-week schedule from here. So
yeah, we'll try to get another episode out in another 2 weeks. We'll see how. I kind of gave you everybody. We kind of gave you guys like a little rundown of what's going to be happening over the next week or two, but we'll have that episode out for you soon. Anyways, it's been great talking with you guys.
yeah,
Always is.
it's
first
been
video.
real.
It's been real. First video episode.
Video
Say hi.
watchers.
Video watchers, hello. Thank you, Ethan.
Audio
again.
listeners,
My
sorry
personal
you guys
camera.
can't see us saluting
Yeah,
the cameras.
you can't see us saluting yet, but I don't know if this will be out on YouTube. We'll see. But
we'll
anyways,
see.
we'll see you guys later.
Yep.
Everybody do the Hunger Games thing.
Why?
I don't know.
All right. Bye-bye.
See you later.